And going over to the political part podcast, you have the FDA officially authorizing the sale of Zyn nicotine pouches for sale. Now, this comes to us thanks to NBC News, which is somehow still in business. I always forget that from time to time. And they say, quote, FDA officially authorizes Zyn nicotine pouches for sale following a health review. The nicotine-infused pouches have exploded in popularity in recent years, though public health officials have warned about their usage among young people. Here you can see like 20 cans of those Zyns and all the fun flavors. Now, the FDA also has an interesting exemption. The FDA, and we'll see if they're successful. The FDA wants to get rid of 95% of nicotine in tobacco cigarettes, which is ridiculous. I don't think they're going to get that through. And I can't think the consumer pushback would be, visceral to say the least. But in that same statement where they're talking about, getting rid of the 95% of nicotine from traditional smoking tobacco cigarettes, they did say they wanted to want exemptions for vaping as well as these pouch thingamajigs. So it's interesting what they're approving and what they're not. Now, this comes with thanks to Rob Weil, and he says, quote, the U.S. FDA formally authorized Zyn nicotine pouches for sale after conducting a, quote, extensive scientific review, which I'm sure everyone trusts and is not at all biased. Haha! Fun. Now, they say, quote, the agency said it found that the particular pouches posed lower risk of cancer and other serious health conditions compared to cigarettes, as well as in relation to other smokeless tobacco products. The agency also found that the pouches had even the potential to benefit cigarette smokers and been evidence that they can get them to quit, which, I don't know, I'm pretty skeptical. They said the same thing about vaping, and then an interesting thing happened. A record number of people got in the tobacco category who normally wouldn't. So you had people who would never touch a traditional cigarette get into vaping. And then some of them did go on to, the traditional tobacco cigarette. But yeah, instead of, getting people off cigarettes, it kind of just created a new category and exploded in usage. You can't throw a brick out of a window anywhere in the US, it seems, without hitting one of those rudimentary, vape shops that look moderately questionable at best. Now, they say that, quote, the data show that these nicotine pouch products meet the bar by benefiting adults who use cigarettes and or smokeless tobacco products and completely switch to these products. I'll quote this by Matthew Farrell, the Director of Office of Science at the FDA's Center of Tobacco Products. They say that Zyn has exploded in recent years in the wake of viral online meme trend, even prompting a shortage last year. Yeah, it was so, and again, not financial advice. It's fascinating to see the parent company, Altria as well as Philip Morris International. Well, yeah, it's been so successful. They're building an entire new facility to produce them, I believe, in Colorado. It's that successful. They're building a whole new facility. I think it's the first new tobacco-related product facility in decades. Because again, in the U.S., on average, there's actually been a decrease in the adoption rate of traditional tobacco products. Other countries, they're booming, which is why these businesses have seemingly been stable, if not sometimes their sales going up on a global scale. But yeah, it's been that successful, especially in the U.S. And there's been a controversy of all these podcasters at the same time, like not just Bill Burr, but specifically, is it Bart Chrysler? I'm kidding, his real name is Bert. But they have all these podcasts where they go, oh yeah, we're not sponsored by them. And they'll have a whole big table of these Zyns, and it turns out, yeah, a third party paid them. Like a third party marketing company, which can't but wonder who they work with, allegedly. We'll see if they take this video down now, which that's why you should always tune into rumble.com, where my videos are not censored or taken down unceremoniously. Well, they say, quote, to that later point, FDA found that so far, Zyn use among the youths appeared relatively low, those continuing to monitor the trend. The spokesperson for Philip Morris International, which owns U.S. rights to Zyn, did not immediately respond or request a comment. Swedish Match, the developer of Zyn, said in a statement, the FDA's authorization of all Zyn nicotine pouches currently marketed by Swedish Match in the U.S. is an important step to protect the public health by providing a better alternatives to cigarettes and other traditional tobacco products to adults 21 plus. They say of course, this group's for everything. This is a group called the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids slammed the FDA's decision in a separate statement. They say, quote, the FDA today, again, click that subscribe button. It might help with my speaking ineptitudes. Lord knows I have many. The FDA today has set a dangerous precedent that puts the nation's kids at risk by authorizing the sale of 20 Zyn nicotine pouch products with flavors that clearly appeal to kids, including chill citrus, cool mint, and peppermint, unquote. Which, I don't know, I can't help but think that's one of the most rude. I always take issue with that argument because, again, they said the same thing with vaping, and I know a lot of my friends, and my friends are all in their 30s or 40s these days, or older than that. I mean, a lot of them love these flavors that they say target kids. I mean, one of my friends is, to me, I think it's silly, but he loves the Skittle flavored vape pens, which again I think is ridiculous. But I don't know if these companies are necessarily doing that. I think they're trying to capture on kind of the millennial trend of wanting your wanting flavor. I don't know. Let me know if do you think it's really targeting kids using those flavors? Because again, when I talk to my adult friends, an overwhelming majority of them are choosing the candy flavors, not like the wintergreens. The wintergreens, oh, that's a traditional tobacco flavor. Now they say, quote, the FDA's decision is deeply troubling given the extensive scientific evidence that flavored tobacco products appeal to kids, and the fact that nicotine pouches were the only category of tobacco product that saw an increase in youth last year. The FDA is sanctioning a flavored tobacco product as already an increasing popularity of kids, and repeating the same mistake it made with Juul that resulted in youth e-cigarette pandemic. Now, the agency also said there's no such thing as safe tobacco product. You should not use tobacco products, and adults who do not use tobacco products should not start, which, again, that's a lot of them are starting on these Zins. It's gone viral on social media in 2024. You couldn't watch a single mainstream comedy podcast without seeing a table of that crap. And not to be too pejorative, I don't know if it's really crap. I never tried the dang thing. I just don't see much of an upside to it. But yeah, it is interesting to see that they finally got authorization. So I'm sure the investors are making exhale and breathe a little bit easier, because Lord knows they can just one stroke of a pen basically ban a product, kind of like Juul. They were the most fastest growing tobacco alternative products in history, and all of a sudden they were shelved for I think it was a couple of years, and obviously that killed their sales cycle to no end. So it'll be interesting to see how much this increases the sale of the products now that's fully. Will they get additional investment if needed? Probably, because again they got the green light. And let me know, do you think a majority of people who are buying Zins, are they people who are traditional tobacco smokers? Are they people who are interested in nicotine and thinking about getting into just the concept of ingesting nicotine on a daily basis? Leave me your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get at 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how to make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.